Hey, welcome back to a brand new video. Now, if you haven't seen my other Creepshow Art videos already, I'd recommend you watch them as they go in depth on the whole situation so far, and keep you informed on every single minor thing that's happened to make sure that everyone is aware of the apparent allegations against Creepshow Art and how she has acted more recently. Now, today, I'm going to be discussing my personal experiences with Creepshow Art, as just like Hopeless Peaches, who made a whole video going in depth on how they were treated wrongly by Creepshow Art, I have also had pretty disgusting experiences with Creepshow Art, though Creepshow Art's experiences with me were less bold and obvious, and more manipulative and kind of stealthy, so I'm going to go in depth on that today, and how Creepshow Art tried to manipulate me into believing that she was a decent person or cared at all about the safety of Hopeless Peaches in attempt to get in good books with me, presumably so that I would treat her better in my video and be less critical of her actions. So that's what I'm going to be going into today, and highlighting how Creepshow Art has apparently done this to a whole lot of content creators, where she's taken advantage of them in some way so that she can decrease the likelihood of them ever turning against her, or speaking out when she was to misbehave. Because every single part of this is so disgusting if this is the truth behind who Creepshow Art really is, and as such, I felt like there was no way I could possibly skip out on making a video that would bring important information like this to the surface, and allow people to be more aware of not just what Creepshow Art has been accused of publicly by people like LolCow, but also how on a personal level she's treated a lot of people in her personal life. But first, I'd like to put out some important trigger warnings for this video. Those being manipulation and the attempt to take your own life, a word that I obviously can't say for the sake of YouTube ever showing this video to anyone. If any of those topics in any way may adversely affect your mental health while watching this video, I would suggest you click off, because this video does cover what it's like to be in a situation where one of your friends is on the edge of losing their life, and how easy it is to be manipulated by someone like Creepshow Art. This is one of the first times I've made a video where I genuinely didn't want to have to bring this information to light, but looking over it, there's no way that I could possibly ignore the fucking cold hard truth about what Creepshow Art may apparently be doing behind the scene, and how she handled her situation with Peaches in such a manipulatory way where she basically threatened her into silence in an attempt to ruin Peaches' life. But before I begin, and you can skip over this if it gets annoying, I'd like to give some self-promo to myself. These videos take a lot of work, and I would appreciate if you could go down below and click subscribe. I'm aiming for 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and that goal is simply only possible if you guys help me by scrolling down below, clicking subscribe on the channel, and maybe turning on notifications so that you get notified whenever I upload. Obviously, you don't have to watch every video I upload, but it's important to mention that you can do so, as I know a lot of people forget that button even exists. I know there's been times where I forgot that button exists, and sometimes YouTube will just randomly unsubscribe you, so it would be way more beneficial to me if you could just scroll down and check, it takes like a few seconds, and then you can help me out just that little bit towards getting to my next goal. Also, I have my other social media linked in the description, like my Twitter, Discord, Instagram, every other platform you could possibly expect, so if you want to go check me out on other platforms and get to see more of my unfiltered view with less scripting, and just where I can talk more about things that I simply couldn't fit into this video, please do check out my Twitter. I cover a lot of these situations in depth, and also when the Emily Artful stuff comes out before I can get through the whole 2 hours of content and get a video out of it, you'll probably see some tweets about it where I go through it. So if that sounds like something you want to see, feel free to go check out my Twitter, linked in the description. And final thing I'd like to note is that these videos take a lot of work to make, so if you could consider donating as small as $1 through Patreon, Ko-fi, or my join button, you'd be able to help me towards funding these videos and improving their quality bit by bit, so that I can turn these videos into something that I may be able to make twice a day, where I go just as in depth on every single topic without having to put myself through that much work by hiring other people, or basically optimizing the process by buying better equipment. I'm not the type of content creator that tries to make people feel obligated like Yandere Devery's like, if you guys donate, I'll put more of my time into developing the game. Simply donating helps me out, and I genuinely appreciate it, but I don't want you to feel like it's necessary in any way. It would just be cool. Sorry, I know the self-promo is always really long, really irritating, and I do genuinely want to cut back on it. I'm trying to think of ways I could do it in a shorter, more compact format, but for now, I'm so sorry that you have to deal with that. But now, let's rewind the clock back to when I made my Hopeless Peaches documentary and when I ended up in contact with a lot of content creators involved in the Hopeless Peaches drama. Now, if you don't know, when I made that video, I reached out to Shannon in private to address some of my concerns with how she handled the situation, namely how she lied, bold-faced lied, about how her and Camilla never received an apology, which at the time I thought was a mistake where Camilla hadn't told her, but given she also got an apology and continued to lie about it way after, and then made excuses for it when I called her out for it, saying that because Peaches went back on the thing she apologized for, the apology basically never happened. This kind of highlights a more malicious undertone, now seeing the shit that Peaches has come out with, that Shannon was basically threatening her into silence, and so I'd like to touch on that a little bit. Back when I was working on my documentary, I messaged Shannon quite a few times, and I brought up many of my issues, and she was really nice to me, to be completely honest. She gave me a lot of respect, and she came across like a genuine person that was nice to me, and I know 99% of other content creators who spoke to Creepshow Art have said the exact same thing, basically. Oh, she was so nice to me in private, and that's why I didn't want to call her out. And I get that mindset, but I'm simply not that type of person. Speaking to Shannon did not water down my criticism in any way, and I called her out for everything I believed she'd done wrong with, and I highlighted within my video that Creepshow Art had lied about a bundle of things to try and frame Hopeless Peaches as way worse than she was, with barely any evidence, or evidence that could be contradicted so easily that I did it in only 20 minutes, and highlighted how all of Shannon's videos basically were baseless at best, slanderous at worst. Which led to Shannon never responding to any of my emails again until one situation in particular, which is where this video takes a much darker, more visceral twist and into something that I didn't script. I didn't script this whole point in the video like I do with the rest of my points, as this is something that I want to talk about genuinely from the heart, as it's a serious situation involving someone else's mental health. Most people know that Hopeless Peaches had attempted to take her own life when this drama started spurring up, and had been talked out of taking her life by Manga Carmen, who showed her a lot of support and helped her in that time. Now, there's one situation in particular that not a lot of people actually know about, as I deleted any tweets mentioning it, Peaches deleted any tweets mentioning it, and no one else actually touched upon it in any way. Hopeless Peaches attempted to take her life a second time, where she released a tweet discussing how she intended to remove herself from this world because she couldn't take the drama anymore and people hating on her. And when I saw this tweet, I called Peaches' number around 30 times with no response while I sat in VC with some of the people of my server while I was panicking and stressing a bunch because I've had a traumatic past with some of these situations before. So I was sat there panicking, and in that panic, I DM'd Creepshow Art, and I told her that this was happening, and I asked her what I should do, and she seemed like she genuinely cared. She was guiding me on what to do, telling me how to handle this situation, and she was telling me how she didn't want anything bad for Peaches at all, and how she thought Peaches could get past this, and she was telling me how amazing of a person Peaches actually was, and telling me to tell Peaches that when I got in the call with them. And luckily enough, Peaches picked up after attempting to overdose, and Peaches is okay, which is great. It's great that Peaches is safe and well, because that situation did weigh heavily on me, and it caused a lot of stress. That situation is one of the hardest things I've had to deal with in my life, and Shannon did help in that situation, to be completely honest, because I had no idea how to handle it at all. And I appreciate people that reached out to me like Tipster and expressed this support that they had for me doing that, and told me that I made the right decision and all of that. I appreciate the people like Tipster that did that, because that situation weighed heavily on me, and I guess I was kind of easily taken advantage of there, because under my stress, I didn't think about how manipulative what Shannon was saying actually was, because how Shannon framed herself in this situation made it seem like she actually cared about Peaches in any way, or that she thought Peaches was a good person. But then you also look at everything Shannon has said, how she so clearly and intentionally lied about Peaches at points, how she was apparently shit-talking her on lolcow, how she manipulated so many people into hating Peaches, and used Luke to spread a lot of information against Peaches and never once denounced his claims of suicide baiting while apparently promoting this video on lolcow. And you've got to consider how fucked up it is. How fucked up it is to act like, on one hand, you care so much about this person being safe and okay, as you simultaneously advocate for and promote a video that actively suggests and implies that Peaches is a suicide baiter who was faking suicidal tendencies for sympathy. I, as someone who was on that call with Peaches, know for certain that Peaches was not faking that. You cannot fake the raw emotion that I saw in that call. That experience was so fucking serious, and Shannon knowing that happened and making videos on Peaches and doing all of this shit and not once ever fucking suggesting in any way that Peaches was innocent of any of the false claims she made of all of this shit, like when she accused Peaches of doxing, when she fucking did all of this shit. And then it gets even worse when you consider the emails that Shannon sent to Peaches that Peaches highlighted in her video. Now, I'm going to touch on these briefly because obviously I don't know the full context of these emails. I have been privy to the information in these emails for quite a bit now. Within these emails, Shannon relentlessly bashes Peaches, claiming that Peaches is lying about everything, claiming that Peaches did dox her, but Shannon didn't claim she doxed her, which Shannon did claim because she implied that Peaches leaked her number, which Peaches didn't do in any way. It was a false claim made to slander Peaches, just like when Shannon claimed that Peaches never apologized, despite her actually apologizing, and despite when Shannon lied about all of this shit against Peaches. Shannon made Peaches seem like a terrible person, knowing Peaches was in a bad place, knowing Peaches was being destroyed publicly, and knowing that Peaches had no way to defend herself against Shannon's huge platform, and all these claims that Shannon made against her. But that's not the huge issue with this chat. Obviously that's a problem, but the biggest issue is these final messages that Shannon sent to Peaches. One in particular where Shannon threatens Peaches, saying that if Peaches or anyone else that Peaches is close to speaks out further with more information, Shannon may have to speak again about Peaches and blast her again. And then Shannon regurgitates that in her final response in a kind of friendly, passing tone to make it seem like she's just looking after Peaches. And may I just say how fucked up it is that you would say that she's not allowed to defend herself against the claims you've made against her. She's not allowed to give her side, otherwise she could risk being blasted by you again. That is a fucking upsetting viewpoint to have. It's actually upsetting to see a content creator like Shannon, someone that has their platform, someone that advocates for mental health awareness, for body positivity, for all of this shit, for someone that acts so inclusive to people in the LGBTQ community, to someone that acts like their understanding of mental health, for that same person to act in this way, this manipulative way, and use Peaches' tweets that she made while she was mentally unwell, where she didn't even mention Shannon by name, and according to Peaches weren't even referencing Shannon, to use those in a video to try and blast Peaches and try and ruin Peaches' career, similar to how Prismate Luke tried to absolutely destroy my career. That behavior distresses me. Putting that on top of all the other times she's gone back on mental health awareness, like her one post on lolcow where she says, "Isn't it weird that all these YouTubers start becoming suicidal after they get in drama?" And all of her posts where she's mocking Peaches. And then you see her posts where she's mocking the LGBTQ, and then you see her posts about all this other shit if this is actually Shannon's account, which again, it's allegations at this point. And then you couple that on top with the allegations that are coming out apparently from Emily Artful that should come out today or tomorrow, where Emily Artful apparently has proof, years of proof, that Shannon was harassing her, stalking her, doing all of this fucked up shit about her. When you see all of that coupled together, you have to wonder how fucking fake of a person Shannon is and how much she's twisted this. And I didn't really think about this whole side with my engagement with Shannon and Peach's private emails with Shannon. I kind of forgot about that because I wanted to believe that Shannon was a good person, and everyone that knew Shannon told me Shannon was a good person. So when I realized that Shannon was lying after I saw Peach's video yesterday, I knew I had to speak about this. I knew I had to speak about how fucked up Shannon's been acting towards Peaches, and how she's basically to this point ruined Peaches' whole channel, her whole chance at ever being a content creator, Peaches' whole chance at ever just doing something she enjoys instead of having to work a job. Shannon took that opportunity from Peaches and shredded it to pieces because she decided that she had the right to ruin Peach's whole fucking life because, oh, Peaches was a bad friend to me. It's so fucking pessy and disgusting, and it upsets me. It actually upsets me, and it pisses me off. If you haven't seen Peach's video, go watch it. And if you unsubscribe from Peach's or weren't subscribed to Peach's, please do resubscribe to Peach's. Peach's makes great content. They're a great person. I've been friends with Peach's for a good few months now, and unlike Shannon, who apparently had all these bad experiences, I have never had a bad experience with Peach's. Peach's has been a great person to me. Peach's has been a great person to everyone she's friends with. Peach's is a good person who had some bad friendships with certain people. That doesn't mean that Peach's is someone that deserves to be cancelled or someone unforgivable or anything like that. So if you could just go support Peach's, that would be highly appreciated and help them get back to 100,000 subscribers, which was what they were almost about to hit. Because I know Peach's intends to quit because they believe their channel is gone. They believe they don't have a chance with their channel anymore, and that's upsetting that Peach's lost, in their eyes, everything because of shit that wasn't even fucking true about them. I'd appreciate if you could show them some support. But with that being said, as I mentioned at various points during this video, all of this is allegations and shouldn't be taken as fact right at this point. This video is a video discussing allegations against Creepshow Art. I'm not making claims against Creepshow Art. I'm not accusing Creepshow Art of anything. I'm discussing the allegations, bringing awareness to them, and making sure that people are aware of the possibility of Shannon being a bad person. If you have enjoyed this video to any capacity, I would appreciate if you could go down below and click subscribe. These videos take a lot of work, and this video is probably going to be one of the hardest ones that I've had to make. So if you could just show a little bit of support, that would be highly appreciated. I'd also appreciate if you could go show Peaches some support. Thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do go down below and click subscribe. I'm aiming for 50k by the end of the year, and I can only achieve that goal with your help. If you could just check if you're subscribed, and then if you aren't subscribed, that would be highly appreciated. You can also turn on notifications to the right of it, so that you get notified every time I upload. And also, furthermore on that point, if you want to see more of me or make sure you get notifications for sure, you should join my Discord, so that you get pings whenever I upload. And check out my Twitter, so you can see my tweets on more different drama, so you can see me expand on my points, so you can see more of my personality and everything else you could possibly expect from a Twitter account. With that being said, I appreciate any support you've given me, and as always, you can check out my Patreon, Ko-fi join button down below, and be like Spy62, SpyV, Ghost of Griever, Heimdall, and many others who have donated to this channel and supported this content. With that being said, I'll do a follow-up when Emily Artful's post comes out, detailing everything that Creepshow Art has done to them, discussing everything if there's a lot of merit towards it, which at this point I believe there will be, and at this point, Shannon has lost 40,000 subscribers, which to me represents the amount of trust people have lost in her, and as of right now, she's deleted her Instagram account, suggesting that she's just disappearing from any social media to evade backlash, which to me seems like a scummy tactic. But with that being said, I appreciate you watching the whole way through. If you have, comment down below Shannon sus if you watched the whole way through this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Says she wanna rock with it like me. I'm a stylish guy. Spend a little guap with it like me. We can catch a fly. Says she wanna rock with it like me.